जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन। यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। यशोदानंदन व्रज जन यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन। यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Govind Radha Govinda Krishna Jai Jagannath Baladev Jai Subhadra Gauranitai, Shri Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Om Vishnupad Paramhans Parivrajak Acharya Ashtottar Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai. Prem se kamo Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gauri Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopal Gopika Shyam Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki Jai. Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki Jai. Purushottam Kshetra Jagannatpuri Dham ki Jai. Navadvip Mayapur Dham ki Jai. Gandamaya Yamunamaya ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Tulsi Maharani ki Jai. Samved Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. All glories to the summer devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the summer devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the summer devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories, all glories, Shukru and Gauranga. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tapo Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Amatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Muttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam. So it's Tuesday, so we'll have the class in English. Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, chapter 3, verse number 7, right? 7, 8. So, but we'll start reciting the verse from 6, right? But there is no purport in 6, so we'll go ahead with the 7 and 8. Okay. So, verse 6. Jahuha kannar gandharvastushtu siddha charana vidyadharyascha nritura sarobhiha samam muda. Translation. The Kinnars and Gandharvas began to sing auspicious songs. The Siddhas and Charanas offered auspicious prayers. And the Vidyadharis, along with the Apsaras, began to dance in jubilation. Shlokas 7 and 8. 7 we have to recite. Okay. So we'll recite 7 number shloka. Mumuchurmunayo deva Sumanansi mudanvita Mandam mandam jaladhara Jagar juranusagaram Mumuchurmunayo deva Sumanansi mudanvita Mandam mandam jaladhara Jagar juranu sagara Mumuchurmunayo deva Sumanansi mudanvita Mandam mandam jaladhara Jagar juranu sagaram Mandam mandam jaladhara Jagar juranu sagaram Mumuchurmunayo deva Sumanansi mudanvita Mandam jaladhara Jagar juranu sagaram Sumanansi mudanvita Deva Annamanda Jaladhara Jagat Mataji's Deva Sunam Srimata Annamanda Jaladhara Jagat Sagara Deva Sunamsi Mudandita Jagarjuna Sagar. So I'll just recite shloka number 8 also because it's a part of today's session. So Nishithe Tama Udbhute Jayamane Janardane Devakyam Devarupinyam Vishnu Sarvaguhashaya Avirasid Yatha Pratyam Rishim Duriva Pushkala. Slow translation. Mumuchuhu showered. Munaha, all the great sages and saintly persons. Devaha and the demigods. Sumanamshi, very beautiful and fragrant flowers. Muda Anvita, being joyous in their attitude. Mandam, very mildly. Jaladhara, the clouds. Jagarjuh, vibrated. Anusagaram, following the vibrations of the sea waves. Nishite, late at night. Tamaha, udbhute, when it was densely dark. Jayamane, on the appearance of. Janardane, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vishnu. Devakyam, in the womb of Devaki. Devarupinyam, who was in the same category as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhava Bhavitabhir Vishnu, Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Lord. Sarva Guhasayah, who is situated in the core of everyone's heart. Avirasit, appeared. Shri Radha Govind Dev, Jagannath Baldev Subhadra, Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yatha, as. Rajyam, Dishi, in the east. Indu Iva, like the full moon. Pushkalaha, complete in every respect. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, quite a lengthy purport. So, it's a beautiful purport. It's one of the most beautiful purports of Srimad Bhagavatam, because this is the time of appearance of Lord Krishna, right? Krishna is appearing in this world for his devotees. So That's the beauty of this purport. So translation. The demigods and great saintly persons showered flowers in a joyous mood, and clouds gathered in the sky, and very mildly thundered, making sounds like those of ocean's waves. Then the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, who is situated in the core of everyone's heart, appeared from the heart of Devaki in the dense darkness of night. Like the full moon rising in the eastern horizon, because Devaki was of the same category as Sri Krishna. Purport. As stated in Brahma Samhita 5.37, Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratipabhibhi Vitabhis Tabhirya eva nija rupa Daya kalabhe Golok eva nivasati Akhilatma bhuto Govindamadi purusham Tamaham bhajami. So this verse indicates that Krishna and his entourage are of the same spiritual potency. Ananda Chinmaya Rasa. Krishna's father, his mother, his friends, the cowherd boys and the cows are all expansions of Krishna, as will be explained in Brahma Vimohan Leela. When Brahma took away Krishna's associates to test the supremacy of Lord Krishna, the Lord expanded himself again in the form of many cowherd boys and calves, all of whom, as Brahma saw, were Vishnu Murtis. Devaki is also an expansion of Krishna, and therefore this verse says, Devakyam Deva Rupinyam Vishnu Sarva Guhasayah. At the time for the Lord's appearance, the great sages and the demigods, being pleased, began to shower flowers at the seashore. There was the sound of mild waves. Above the sea, there were clouds in the sky, which began to thunder very pleasingly. When things were adjusted like this, Lord Vishnu, who is residing within the heart of every living entity, appeared in the darkness of night as the Supreme Personality of Godhead before Devaki, who appeared as one of the demi-goddesses. The appearance of Lord Vishnu at that time could be compared to the rising of full moon in the sky on the eastern horizon. The objection may be raised that since Lord Krishna appeared on the 8th day of waning moon, there could be no rising of the full moon. In answer to this, it may be said that Lord Krishna appeared in the dynasty which is in the hierarchy of moon. Therefore, although moon was incomplete on that night because of the Lord's appearance in the dynasty within the moon is himself original person, the moon was in an overjoyous condition. So by the grace of Krishna, he could appear as a full moon to welcome Supreme Personality of Godhead. The waning moon became a full moon in jubilation. Instead of Deva Rupinyam, some text of Srimad Bhagavatam clearly say Vishnu Rupinyam. In either case, the meaning is that Devaki has the same spiritual form as the Lord. Lord is Satchit Ananda Vigraha and Devaki is also Satchit Ananda Vigraha. Therefore, no one can find any fault in the way Supreme Personality of Godhead, Satchit Ananda Vigraha, appeared from the womb of Devaki. Those who are not in full knowledge that the appearance and disappearance of Lord are transcendental, Janma karma cha me divyam are sometimes surprised by the Supreme Personality of Godhead can take birth like an ordinary child. Actually, however, the Lord's birth is never ordinary. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is already situated within the core of everyone's heart as Antaryami, the Super Soul. Thus, because he was present in full potency in Devaki's heart, he was also able to appear outside her body. One of the 12 great personalities is Bhishma Dev. Swayambhur Naradha Shubha Kumara Kapilo Muna Prahlado Janako Bhishma. So in Srimad Bhagavatam 1942, Bhishma, a great authority to be followed by devotees, says that Supreme Personality of Godhead is situated in the core of everyone's heart. Thus, as the sun may be on everyone's head, yet although the sun may be on the heads of millions of people, this does not mean that sun is variously situated. Similarly, because the Supreme Personality of Godhead has inconceivable potencies, he can be within everyone's heart and yet not be situated variously. Ekatvam anupashyatah. Shri Upanishad, 7th verse. The Lord is one, but he can appear in everyone's heart by his inconceivable potency. Thus, although Lord was within the heart of Devaki, he appeared as her child. According to Vishnu Puran, therefore as quoted in Vaishnav Toshini, the Lord appeared like the sun. Anugrahasya. The Brahma Samhita 5.35 confirms that the Lord is situated even within the atom. Andantarastha Paramanu Chayantarastham. He is situated in Mathura, in Vaikuntha, and in the core of heart. Therefore, one should clearly understand that he did not live like an ordinary child in the heart or the womb of Devaki. Nor did he appear like an ordinary human child, although he seemed to do so in order to bewilder asuras like Kamsa. The asuras wrongly think that Krishna took birth like an ordinary child and passed away from this world like an ordinary man. Such asuri conceptions are rejected by persons in knowledge of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ajopi sanna avayatma bhutanam ishvaro api san. Bhagavad Gita 4.6. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord is Aja, means unborn, and he is supreme controller of everything. Nonetheless, he appeared as the child of Devaki. This verse describes the inconceivable potency of the Lord, who appeared like the full moon. Understanding the special significance of the appearance of Supreme Personality, one should never regard him as having taken birth like an ordinary child. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shilakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurue Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuda Pada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagra Jatam Sahagana Raghunathanditam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Saritam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Nitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpati Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारी। हरे कृष्णा। So, it's all self-explanatory. Nothing needs to be explained. Because if Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto itself is the face of the Lord, and the Lord is smiling. So, if you see Lord smiling, and if you can feel that smile in our heart, there is actually nothing to be explained. It all needs to be felt. And you can feel it within the heart. So, there are two perspectives to see this verse. One is how the Lord appeared as the son of Devaki. And there is another thing we can understand. When there is first level of realization, which is called self-realization. Self-realization is when we understand who we are. So we are body or we are soul? It depends. For a person who is living in bodily consciousness, for him, self is the body itself. For him, whatever you say about soul, for him, soul is the body only. And for a person who thinks, I am not this body, I am something inside, maybe the mind, then when you will talk about soul, the person will think, mind is the soul. That is a big misconception we always go through. And for a person who is self-realized, for him, the soul is the soul. So, now we should contemplate ourselves at what level we are. For us, soul is exactly at that level. And so for our identity, we must ensure we don't waste time to cherish the transcendental mellows, the pastimes of the Lord. We must try to understand that we immediately try our best to come on the, at least on the soul level. But that is also not the ultimate realization. Soul realization is when our blindness starts vanishing. So, like you are going from a forest area. You are going in a forest area with a torch, right? With a torch you are going in a forest area in dense darkness. And then when you use this torch, you are able to see exactly what you need to see, how to move forward. But you cannot see everything in this torch. Similar is self-realization. Self-realization means that now you have understood who you are and where you are. So you can keep moving ahead, right? You can keep moving ahead step by step. But that is not the ultimate level Srimad Bhagavatam wants us to be at. Srimad Bhagavatam wants us to be at least God realized. God realization can come in all three different forms: Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaniti, Shabdyate. So, this 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam expects us to come at the level of Bhagavan, wherein you understand that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is not a realization. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is a person. He is a person just like us. But there is a difference. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is a person. Like us, we can say, because we are also his part and parcel in quality. But unlike us, because as Prabhupada mentions, that Supreme Person is also a person, we are also a person. What is the only difference? What is the only difference we should keep realizing is we are living entities or jivas. So as a living entity, jiva, we have tendency to keep falling down. Like whenever a drop of rain leaves the cloud, it will have a tendency to fall down on the ground. There is nothing which can be done. So, similarly, we all have a tendency to keep falling down. And therefore, there are 14 planetary systems for us. And we are in the midst of it, on the planet Earth. There are, 6 planetary systems upwards and then other 7 planetary systems downwards, right? And we are just in the midst of it. So, the higher planetary systems have living entities with a higher consciousness level, right? But as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Kshine punye marte lokam vishanti. So when a person is done with his hard-earned swikriti or punya karmas, he has to fall back on this planet, right? So when a person falls back down on this planet, he has to again take birth of a human being, takes a birth of a normal human being, for whom every single karma matters. The law of karma applies to human beings. Does it apply to the demigods? No. Law of karma, they are only there to enjoy the fruits of their actions. Does it apply to animals or lower beings? No. It does not apply to them because they are already bound to suffer the consequences of their past karmas. But as human beings, we are bound to suffer the consequences of our past karmas, but we also can do karmas that can form our future. So that's where our Vedic philosophy, which is so very balanced, our Vedic philosophy neither says that you can do everything, and nor it says that everything is defined by your destiny. It's somewhere in the midst. Do your best and leave the rest on to Krishna. Right? That's what our Vedic philosophy says. So highest form of realization, God realization, is the Bhagavan realization, wherein wherein we understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead is a person. And with this person, he is infallible. He is infallible. He cannot fall down. Neither he has a tendency to fall down, but we have a tendency to keep falling down. Imagine your day from morning when you wake up till the time you go into your beds. Each moment we have a tendency to enjoy. And what is this fall down, by the way? Fall down is nothing but your mind trying to find happiness in sense satisfaction or sense gratification. So our mind is like in the center. Outside there are senses, and then along with all these senses there are sense objects. So we have 5 knowledge acquiring senses. Against all these 5 knowledge acquiring senses, we have numerous sense objects. Innumerous, I would say. So many sense objects our senses can enjoy. But senses can only enjoy when the mind wants the senses to enjoy. Right? So whenever a person wants to enjoy through his senses, we usually say it's a kind of fall down. Sense gratification leads to fall down only. As long as it is unregulated. And if the mind doesn't go outside towards its senses and through the senses to sense objects, the mind has a choice. It has a choice to go inside. Mind has a choice to go inside and see towards the real self. That is what we call as Atma, or the soul. When the mind tries to enjoy within the soul, it goes beyond the conception of space and time, and it starts enjoying beyond time. Time becomes irrelevant. It starts enjoying unlimitedly. The quantity becomes irrelevant because the quantities have to be measured in this material world. But soul can enjoy, keep enjoying, and the enjoyment keeps going on, and it keeps increasing. That is what is called, that's what we call bliss. It's not happiness. Happiness may end, but bliss is something which will never end. So this special terminology of bliss is what Prabhupada uses in his purports. So, but how will this bliss keep going on, and how will you keep enjoying more and more transcendental mellows? That will only happen when we will get in association, get in touch with something that is full of bliss. That's a treasure house of bliss. And that can only be no one other than Krishna. Krishna gives this transcendental bliss to Mother Devaki. And now, the another aspect that we were discussing is Krishna can give the same transcendental bliss to us also. How? How will we get that transcendental bliss? In our heart. Krishna appeared in the heart of Vasudeva. And from Vasudev's heart, Krishna appears in the heart of Devaki. So, this is exactly how realization or transcendental realization or God realization begins. Okay? If you all want to have self-realization or God realization, you must realize the same kind of, experience or realization you can also go through that Mother Devaki went through. Although she is Satchidanand Vigraha completely, because she is complete, her body is completely transcendental. Although we are material, but with self-realization and the realization of Krishna, with Krishna consciousness, we can also become and realize our pure transcendental nature. As the servants of Krishna. Right? So, now let's meditate. There's a beautiful meditation in these verses. Now if you want to realize it, you can just sit calmly, and whatever I repeat in the last 7 verses, just I'll repeat them and imagine the kind of bliss you will get just by reading the meaning of these 7 verses. Okay? So you can either keep your eyes open or close your eyes, whatsoever you feel like, but sit straight, or you are going to sleep, right? So just sit straight, and whatever I say, just try to imagine that. This imagination itself is so transcendental that Krishna has not yet appeared. Before his appearance, such was the environment. Now Krishna is yet to come. Now the altar curtains will raise open at 9 in another 5-10 minutes, and Krishna will appear. The same way Krishna appears in our heart. And when before he appears in our heart, what is the kind of environment that is created? How many of you have recently seen a sunrise? So, if you wake up early in the morning, then only you'll see a sunrise. Anyways, our devotees are transcendental. They rise before the sun, much before the sun. So, just I repeat these words. I was reading and I felt that there's really something to be repeated over and over. So if you want to go through some meditation, be prepared. I'll repeat. So now Krishna is appearing like a beautiful moon, full moon, right? So when this moon is going to appear, what is the kind of environment that was prepared? And that environment is not just outside, it also is there in our hearts. So that environment has to be there in our heart. Why? Until our heart doesn't have a pure environment, Krishna will never come in our heart. Forget about transcendental happiness or bliss, anything. Krishna is not going to even consider coming in our hearts, right? So therefore, what I'm going to define is something that you should feel in your heart. All right? Are you all ready? Okay. So Krishna is ready to appear. Now imagine such a beautiful situation. At the auspicious time for the appearance of the Lord, the entire universe was surcharged with all the qualities of goodness, beauty and peace. With the Lord's name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And then the constellation Rohini appeared. It's a very rare constellation. When this constellation Rohini appears, then it's auspicious. So this auspicious constellation has appeared in the sky that you can see in the night. If you are in some remote place, in Delhi you can't really see the stars. Anyways, as did stars like Ashwini. The star named Ashwini also appeared. It's a beautiful star. And the sun, the moon, and the other stars and the planets were very peaceful. So there was no anger, no illusion, there was no fight, no enviousness. It was all peaceful. People were all peacefully situated, right? And is our heart peaceful? Yes or no? Is our heart peaceful? Our heart will also become peaceful. When our heart becomes peaceful, then only we create an environment around ourselves that is peaceful. Right? So that peace has to first appear in our hearts. Now, all the directions appeared extremely pleasing, and the beautiful stars twinkled in the cloudless sky. Have you seen stars twinkling? Have you ever seen stars twinkling in the sky? People living in Delhi NCR won't really understand what I'm talking about. For that you have to go in some remote village and sleep underneath sky, not in a room or a house. Sit, just sleep underneath open sky or clouds. There is no cloud that day, and then you can actually see every single star as clear as if they are just appearing for you. That is the kind of twinkling of stars we are talking about. And then decorated with towns, villages, mines and pasturing grounds, the earth seemed all auspicious. Everything was well decorated. When we prepare for Diwali, so for 1 month in advance, you start cleaning your houses, you start painting, and you start decorating it as beautifully as you can. But when this Diwali is coming, have you thought that I should also start cleaning my heart from within? We don't really get time for that. But when Krishna appears in our heart, he will first have a look, is his heart pure enough, clear enough? Because Krishna won't sit in a dirty place. Krishna has to have a very beautiful. Once I was going for Bal Bhoga, so I was in the kitchen and was preparing a plate for Krishna's Bhoga. So when I was preparing this plate, so I was filling water in a glass. When I was filling water, the glass wasn't very clean. So immediately our head Pujari, Akhand Hai Naam Prabhu, he came and said, hey, the glass is not clean. Krishna won't drink. So that was a realization for me. If the utensils are not clean, the glass is not clean, Krishna won't eat. Krishna won't even look at it. So Krishna needs everything to be clean and clear. So if Krishna won't drink from an unclean glass, how can he sit in a place which is not clean? And therefore, cleanliness of heart is the most important thing we must focus. So in future, when Diwali comes, right? In future when Diwali comes, or in that case any festival comes, start cleaning the house from outside, but also start cleaning your heart from within. Right? This is so important. The rivers flowed with clear water. And the lakes and vast reservoirs full of lilies and lotuses were extraordinarily beautiful. When you see transcendental darshans of our Shri Radha Govinde, Shri Jagannath Dalai Subhadra and Shri Gaur Nitai, when they are decorated with flowers, it gives us a feeling as if we are sitting in Vrindavan, right? So these beautiful flowers make us feel like that. And so the reservoirs of water were full of lilies and lotuses. In the trees and green plants, full of flowers and leaves, pleasing to the eyes, birds like cuckoos and swarms of bees began chanting with sweet voices for the sake of the demigods. What they must be chanting? Imagine what they must be chanting. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. A pure breeze. The weather is like reasonably cold and very pleasant. If you are not really caught some cough. So pure breeze began to blow, pleasing the senses of touch and bearing the aroma of flowers. And when the Brahmanas engaging in ritualistic ceremonies ignited their fires according to Vedic principles, the fire burned steadily undisturbed by the breeze. Even though breeze was flowing, the fire of yagnas were not disturbed at all. They all were doing their work harmoniously. So harmony is the next key that is required. So we all just don't need to have a clear and clean heart, but we also should have harmony with not just nature, with all the souls, with Krishna himself, leaving all the enviousness against Krishna, right? So with harmony with Krishna, harmony with nature, and harmony with all the living entities. Imagine if we are just harmonious to everyone, how beautiful our heart becomes. Leave apart Krishna. But when Krishna will come, it becomes transcendental, right? Thus, when the birthless Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was about to appear, the saints and brahmanas who had always been disturbed by the demons like Kamsa and his men felt peace. Right? So all the saints were in peace. No demigod, no demon was there to disturb them. Now in this Kali Yuga, all of us have demon. Right? Now imagine all of us have demon in our heart, all of us have demigod also in our heart. So demons and demigods are staying in one place together in our hearts. Right? Sometimes the demigods become powerful and we start having pious thoughts. The same way, demon starts becoming powerful and then we start becoming envious, jealous, and anger, and we start doing a lots of nonsense things. So therefore, the demons like Kamsas and his men demons did not or were not disturbing the saintly people. So although you are in Kali Yuga, but if your heart becomes clean, the demons will not be able to disturb. The demon in your heart or the demons outside will not be able to disturb you. This is interesting, right? When I understood, when this realization was really pleasant to my heart too. And just two more minutes I'll take before we close. And the Kinnars and the Gandharvas began to sing auspicious songs. Whenever you come to the temple during our aartis, all the devotees are singing and dancing joyously. Such is an environment in this beautiful ISKCON temple. In that case, all the ISKCON temples. This is the beautiful environment. Why? Because the altar will be opening and Krishna will be appearing. All our hearts should be clean from within. We should be dancing and singing from within, and we should also be dancing and singing outside. Right? So therefore, Krishna's appearance, therefore actually we dance and we sing. People say, this ISKCON temple, you go and people are dancing like anything. Well, why? Because Krishna is there. We must have to dance. We have to dance. There is no option. Right? It comes, it comes spontaneously. It's not that we force ourselves, let's do like this or that dance. It spontaneously comes from within our heart. Right? And the demigods and greatly saintly persons showered flowers in joyous mood, and clouds gathered in the sky, and very mildly thundered, making sounds like those of ocean waves. Now thunders. Now imagine thunder bolts, right? You understand thunderbolts. Now thunder, when it comes in the sky, it has a big sound. And if you know it creates a huge amount of sound with which, imagine, Kansa was disturbed. When there was a big sound in the sky, Kansa's heart was full of fear. But now the same thunders were rolling, and every devotee, and they were rolling like ocean waves, like this. So they are also pleasing to the heart. Shri Radha Govindev, Jagannath Baldev, Suddha Shri Gaunita, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So whenever we come to take darshans of Krishna, Shri Radha Govindev, we should have this kind of joyous mood in our heart. Then only we will be able to actually enjoy the transcendental darshans of the Lord. Right? So this is one of the meditations I got. So I had little time to prepare for the day, but I made it a meditation to imagine and just feel the bliss of it. Right? So that's where we will close today's session. It's already 5 minutes over. Sorry for that. So we'll close. Anybody wants to share or add over it, or any doubt? I don't think there should be. Anybody would like to add, Prabhuji? Something? Okay. So Prabhuji wants to say something. Pushna Charlie. Okay, one question. हरे कृष्णा। अच्छा है, अच्छे से जप करिए, अच्छे से चैंटिंग करिए और अच्छे से भगवद गीता को पढ़िए, है ना? आप अच्छे से बढ़ेंगे आप। ठीक, हरे कृष्ण। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की, हिताय गौर प्रेमानंद। हरे श्रील प्रभुपाद की।